What is going on, ladies and gents? Hopefully all is well. Good to see us all here today. Very eventful walkthrough for us today, guys. I'm very excited to not only introduce our main man, Ron here, one of our BSF students doing over $100,000 a month in multiple of his brands right now, which is absolutely incredible. But we're going to be breaking down how he was able to make this happen from zero, how he's actually building multiple companies over and over and over, and how we're doing it inside BSF with the same system over and over. So if any of you guys are new to e-commerce, you want to actually see how we're building from zero, right? Or you're interested in like building portfolios or companies over and over again, this is going to be huge for you guys. I'm very excited to walk you through. Definitely say what's up down below as well. Let me know where you guys are also watching from down below. Also, I want to see exactly where everybody's from. Good to see us all here. We are live on Facebook as well as Instagram, which is awesome. Good to see us all here in the Facebook group. Say what's up down below, guys. Let me know what you guys are actually watching from down below right in the comments. We're going to be giving out tons of hoodies on this stream. If you ever wanted to win some custom BSF gear, like a hoodie or something like that, go ahead and drop hashtag BSF below or any comment down below. We're going to be picking out lots of people to win hoodies, free gear, free stuff. It's going to be cool. And I'm excited to walk you guys through today. So as you guys can see, we have Ron here on the stream with us, who is kind enough to not only go ahead and put time aside from his busy schedule of running his businesses and his stores and helping the BSF community, but to also come on here and to show us kind of not only how he's kind of started his journey, but to give us the behind the scenes in terms of how he made it happen, right? And kind of some of the pitfalls that he went through and some of the real big wins he went through as well, and how he was able to kind of make this whole thing happen. So first and foremost, Ron, thank you so much for attending here today. If you're watching on Instagram right here as well, right, you're going to be hearing Ron through my laptop here, and you guys will hear it here. We're actually live in the Facebook group. If you want to see Ron, go ahead and join the Facebook group. All you got to go ahead and do is go to my Instagram story, and you could click the link and then join the group, and you can see the stream that I have with Ron right here. But I got us live on IG here too. And Ron, thank you again for making some time today, brother. I'm really excited to kind of walk through and to kind of get a little bit more tactical than we usually do on these live events, right? We usually go kind of surface level, showing people kind of what you made happen. But I'm excited to kind of ask you some questions and kind of get into the nitty gritty of how you made all this happen. You're a super impressive individual. And, I know we've been working together for the last several years from, student to where you are now. And I couldn't be more proud of you, man. And I want to give you the spotlight and have you kind of give yourself the opportunity to share your story and to really kind of go in depth with it, which I think so many people are interested in here, which is absolutely amazing. So before we even get to it, guys, go ahead and drop a comment, hashtag Ron, drop hashtag Ron below. He's the absolute man. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you so much for making time for us today, man. I appreciate it.
Bro, thank you so much for having me here. I'm like, it's always, I feel so pumped all the time when I hop on with you live. The community is amazing. They share so much love. And, I love sharing my story and, helping everybody out within the community and, helping each one out as well. So, yeah, I mean, my story, it has been incredible so far, from the time when I started to where I see myself standing right now, right? I mean, I never imagined that I would be traveling to China and literally seeing the entire supply chain working, that works behind the scenes, and how the whole thing works, right? I never even imagined that I would go there and see it all, right? With my naked eye, which is incredible, right? So,
and Ron, I mean, what I want to do here today, and I'm going to kind of go in a step-by-step process, and I'm going to ask you specific questions based on your journey, and just kind of the first thing that comes to your mind, I just want you to spit it out, right? I just want you to spit it out, right? The first thing that comes to your mind, because I want to go through and ask these questions in a way where someone who's newer will be able to benefit from your answers, right? But also someone who's doing 100K, 200K plus a month, right? 300K a month, trying to push further, can also benefit as well. So again, thank you so much for attending, man. And your trip to China was absolutely insane, right? You saw your entire supply chain of exactly what you're utilizing for your back end, which is incredible. It's a whole different ball game. I remember first enrolling you, right? Now you're literally, flying around, traveling the world, visiting your work colleagues, which is amazing. So I think not only do you deserve all this success, but also it's, earned, right? You've been doing this for a bit now, right? And you are now a seasoned, what I would call expert and veteran at what you do. And I couldn't be more proud of you, man. So I kind of want to lead off with asking you first and foremost, did you have any advantages when you first started? Did you have any advantages? Did you have a bunch of money? Did you have all these connects that seemingly made it easier for you to win? Walk me through just a little bit deeper. Like, did you have an advantage? Did you have an advantage or not? What made it so you can actually make this happen? Like, did you have an advantage when you first started, or were you in the same spot that most people were? in your opinion?
Honestly, before BSF, so I didn't grow up thinking that I would be in e-commerce first and foremost. And, like many of us, that are getting started right now, would be able to relate it with me. So when I started with confusion, fear, and kind of whole lot of, those YouTube rabbit holes, right? So I had like, it was tough, obviously, but the turning point for me was realizing that YouTube was not the way for me to kind of go and be a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur, right? In this business. I understood that I needed mentorship, right? So that's when, BSF ecosystem help me, be who I am, right? That was the turning point. So to answer to your question, no, like, I started off with absolutely, no money, actually negative, right? I start off with minus 70K in debt, and then using the BSF systems to actually get that flow and momentum started, right?
Right.
I kind of understood that it's not so I was looking for winning products until I realized that I don't need winning products, but I really need a winning system that has to work for me first.
For
Yeah.
sure. That's an amazing breakdown. And let's unpack that a little bit. So you said you kind of started in some debt there. So walk us through your mindset, dude, as someone who's like, you have debt, right? And you didn't tell me this until way after you've built and scaled with myself, and I couldn't believe it, right? Walk me through your mind process of someone who's in 70K debt. How do you even keep your head on straight? How do you keep your head on straight? How do you roll forward? How do you continue to push and stay motivated and put out your best work without it diminishing? Walk us through that mind game and that kind of mental process that you had to go through. I'm sure it's somewhat of a mental process. Was it? Maybe it wasn't. What was it for yourself?
I mean, it was tough to kind of have that mental stability, and keep it's tough to, keep yourself focused when you're in so much debt, right? You don't know if it'll work out for you or not, but then you believe in the system, because I could see so many others back in the days that were already like doing like 100K a month, right? I even saw students back then that were doing like 100K in weeks with BSF systems. So I knew that this works, right? Just that I need to follow the correct system. I need to follow the correct approach. I just need that hands-on guidance, the correct mentorship from you. And that's when I knew that I would be so I just believed in the system, and I just followed it straight up. I did not look at anything else,
Right.
and
Okay.
just
So
went ahead with it.
amazing. So go deeper on that. So a belief in the system, number one, which is awesome, right?
Mhm.
So conviction, right? Real conviction in what you're doing, right? And also proof in the pudding of what you're doing has actually been proven over years and years and years, right? So it
Mhm.
makes complete logical sense, right? And most people in this marketplace are straight full of shit, right? I'll just go out and say it, right? We have over 10 years of consistency and 5 stars across the board. So when you see that over and over and over year after year, it could definitely, break through the barrier more so than a lot of the other stuff that you see on the internet, which is awesome. So, okay, so conviction. Now walk us through how you maintain the motivation out the gate when you had no traction. So when you were brand new, how do you
Mhm.
even have the will or motivation to even wake up and do it? Right? Because like, for example, we all know e-commerce is hard, right? And it's not just one click a button and you're a millionaire. It's not how it is. Anyone who says that's full of shit and is lying, right? You need to focus on true systems and consistencies, like you said, actually having a proven game plan and having a process, right? But walk us through that. Like when you had no traction, you weren't making great money. There's no real reason for you to be excited. Walk us through how you push forward and continued through that process thereafter and stayed motivated. So when you first started, obviously it's motivation for the first 2 seconds, but how'd you stay motivated?
So it's like when you follow the correct approach, the correct system, you start to get momentum, you start to get like sales regularly. So it becomes an addiction. So, day one, you get like one sale, day two, you get like two sales, right? By the time you reach day three, you have like 5 to 10 sales on board. And that automatically brings that, kick. So you want to, and at that time, you want to kind of push even harder, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, right? This is actually working out now. So I need to put my 500% now so that I can scale this, right? Now that I know it's working.
I love that. So essentially, small checkpoint wins, right, is what's allowed you to kind of keep the motivation and consistency, right? And that's the big
Exactly.
deal, right? That's a big deal. So that's awesome as well. Okay, so we have conviction, right? Ensuring that you have small wins throughout the process as well, right? Okay. So now, as someone who kind of started to see your first bits of traction, right? Obviously, utilizing the VSF system, use algorithmic targeting and a series of different systems that we have to take your products to market, which is awesome, right? And there's a series of things that you do that will take the products to market. And you start seeing momentum and consistency. You look at your KPIs, make sure it's something that's actually scalable. And based off what we see, we either kill or we start to go ahead and scale something moving forward if it starts to perform, right? And that's exactly what we do. And what we've done here is develop a process where you have these KPIs, right, that you look at, where you know what's good, you know what's poor, and you know when you see something that's absolutely phenomenal or astronomically performing, so you can scale it forward, right? And when you actually have a system and a process like this and become binary with what you're doing in e-commerce, you're allowing yourself to actually know when something's going really well, so you can actually put more resources and time and effort and energy toward it when it's happening, right? So walk us through that, Ron. When you start to really take your products to market. Walk us through, okay, for the newer people here, right? Product
Yeah.
research, right? Walk us through product research in terms of like what makes a great product, right? What you've seen from your brands that kind of keeps products going long term, because you have brands that are years and years old, right? We're not just building 2-week pump and dumps, as they always say. We're building actual assets, right? So walk us through product research and your mind and where your mind needs to be with product research, right? And the biggest thing that I'll say, right? I've been doing this for over 10 years at this point, right? Product research is one of the most important pieces, bar none, guys, right? And you should focus on items that have a bit more margin so you could get a bit more room on your traffic as well. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90 profit per unit products are great, right? And it allows you to actually have consistency in what you're doing so you could actually put more in ads and keep that ROAS higher, right? Which is important because one thing I always say is as pricing goes up or margin goes up, right, CPM doesn't follow suit completely, which means when you actually are making more per sale, right, you don't have to really pay one for one in terms of how much more you're making with that margin. So if you're increasing your margin by $20, $30 by selling something that's $20 to $30 more expensive, you're not going to be paying a higher cost of that amount as well. You just have the opportunity to make a higher profit per unit when someone buys, right? Because your costs won't go up one for one on the ad platform, which is really good. So walk me through that a bit deeper, Ron, in terms of the product research, like the things that you keep in mind before we even talk about launching yet. Talk to us about how product research, what you personally see that does well. And also, guys, what's really cool, and Ron, I'll give you full reins here. Ron was just literally at Hyperskew in China, right? Flew there the whole night, was there for over a week. They personally gave him products that are winners, niches, and actual individualized items that are actual winners that are in this factory now selling lots and lots of units. And Ron, feel free to spew it on the live here. For anyone who's watching right now, just realize if you ever watch any of these lives, it's not only just value in free hoodies, right? You might go ahead and hear free winning products and things like that as well. We're going to always bring things up for those of you who are here live, right? And obviously those who act on it first can make, great movement from it. So Ron, walk us through it. Product research, how important is it in your eyes? Very important in my eyes. Walk me through it in yours. And what are some of the things that you keep in mind when conducting your product research?
It's definitely the number one and the most important piece of ecom, right? Everything else comes later, but this literally is the number one piece. If the product research goes wrong, the entire marketing funnel, it would go, wrong as
100%.
well, right? So this one is literally number one for me. And what I kind of look at before, shortlisting a product into my list is it has to be evergreen, right? So any product or niche that is evergreen, that constantly solves a problem and kind of sell overall like year round, they are like these products that are not kind of tied to a particular trend, a season, a holiday,
Right.
but have like a long-term sustainability and like runs year long. Those are the kind of products that has growth. So I would
100%.
usually focus on those kind of products, and with these you can actually build a brand, like a long-term brand. That's how clothing came to my mind as well, because that's one of the hot niches that it falls under. Also includes like health, beauty, even weight loss, right? Pets. So anything that has growth and is evergreen, runs year long, I would just, straight away dive into it.
100%. And to capitalize on that, right? For example, what that isn't is a fidget spinner, for example, right? So what you don't want to sell are items like fidget spinners and crap like that, right? That's not what you want to sell. So for example, when fidget spinners were hot, I wanted to take advantage of it for the short term because I knew it was a very short-term product, not a long-term product. And I milked it for maybe like a month, right? And then it died out, right? I was killing it for like a month and it died out. Okay. And as someone who's building a brand, you want to focus on long-term consistency because you don't want to have, products that you have to constantly just take to market and just do for the moment, right? It's okay to do that when you're advanced and you're well-versed and you're just trying to go, you could go ahead and print for that month because you know that product's not going to be long-term, but that's after you already have long-term evergreen brands built. Right. So take Ron's advice and focus on evergreen products. When you're building something and putting time, effort, and energy, right, you want it to be a long-term asset. You want it to have consistency. You want it to grow linear, right? You want to have linear growth patterns. You don't want to have inconsistencies throughout the year or zero sales throughout the year. So I think that's incredibly huge, Ron, right? And also talk to us about some of the other points that you think are super important in product research as well. And again, guys, this is coming from someone, Ron, who has 3 brands right now, building a 4th one with myself currently, right? He runs multiple companies at the same time with the same system, managing them all at once, right? And he's traveling the world, literally visiting his own suppliers because that's what he does. He's an e-commerce entrepreneur, right? This is the life of an entrepreneur, right? And when you're an e-commerce entrepreneur, having these points of knowledge and insights are very, very impactful because you want to spend your time on the things that matter most. You want to really allocate most of your time to the things that will have the most weight in terms of your success, results, and long-term consistency. And that's product research, right? So talk to us a bit deeper, Ron, on other things that you focus on in product research as well.
So apart from that, when I'm choosing the niche, I also see, obviously, I go through all of our multi-platform validation check. Apart from that, when I'm choosing the niche, I also, yeah. So
I'm sorry.
am I good?
Yeah, no, you're good. That was on my end. You're good.
Oh, okay. I thought, where is it?
I was checking the live, just making sure we're all good. We're good. I just double echoed you.
Okay, yeah.
You're good, brother.
Yeah. So like I said, I do see that, if it's evergreen, if it's like extremely unique. But other than that, I also check a few other factors as well. Obviously, the most important one, and it's one of the factors that goes into our multi-platform validation checklist. So I see if it has that wow factor, if it is not sold in brick and mortar, right? If it has like low cost of goods, obviously. And then of course, the product index that we have, at least, following 3 of the 9 criterias, right? So improves confidence, saves people money, saves people time, high perceived value, solves a problem, extremely unique, women dominated. So I see those, at least 3 of those 9 criterias within the product. That is like the top thing for me to look at after I've like selected the niche or the product, and then I go to the platforms.
I love that. And what I want to pinpoint right there for everybody, notice how Ron had that memorized, like one by one by one by one, right? This man knows his stuff, right? And there's a correlation to knowing your stuff and doing well, right? So notice how he didn't have to read his thing, or he knows this like the back of his hand, right? And that's a big difference. That's a big difference, honestly. It genuinely is. Because I'll tell you what, there's people who they'll look at it and think, oh, I could just go reference it, but you want to memorize it. You want to memorize it because then you truly know it, right? And that's something that's very, very important. So 1, that's great stuff. 2, take note of that, guys, right? When you see people who are doing well and they do these things nuanced, but it's normal to them, take note, right? Take note. Ron clearly knows his craft, right? So really get to know your craft. And if you're someone who's new, right, realize even when I was new, like 14 years ago, I remember looking at the ad account and being like, wow, this looks extremely complicated. I don't think I'll ever understand this or do well. That's really, really crazy looking at this ad. Like I remembered, it was so overwhelming to me. And look where we are now, right? So I didn't think I'd be able to be great at it, right? Until I constantly force myself to just be, learn it, right? And be exposed to it constantly, right? So it's the same thing you did, Ron, which is amazing. So totally concur with your point there as well. And, one of the things that I want to ask you as well about product research specifically, is there anything that you want to talk about with margin, right? Margin in terms of any specific products that you personally focus on or look at in terms of certain price points, et cetera, and why? I think that will be helpful for the people.
I mean, yeah. So with margins, like you always mention, we definitely want to have at least like a $25 margin, like a minimum of 20,
Minimum.
20 $20 plus. Obviously, the higher the better. But that is something that's the benchmark that we need to maintain while uh, testing a product.
100%. And like the biggest thing for myself, guys, especially when I'm launching brands these days, like we want to focus on actually high margin because the whole goal is to obviously go for an acquisition, right? Or something of that nature. And people who are going to be acquiring you are going to look for that margin. That's why they're buying for cash flow, right? So keep that in mind as well when you're looking to go for a sale or sell an asset, sell a business or something, right? You want to obviously focus on enterprise value at the gate. It's when you don't want to sell, that's when you want to build it to be sold, right? Now, with that being said as well, Ron, walk us through a bit deeper now. So let's take a transition now. So we talked about kind of some like the nitty gritty of you getting involved, you getting started, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk a little bit deeper, right? About when you really start setting up your ads, right? So talk to me about how you set up your ads. Now, obviously we use algorithmic targeting, et cetera, but I want you to break that down kind of in terms of like what that means, what that looks like. Cause obviously that to us and to our students, we know what that means, right? But like walk us through what that means. What is algorithmic targeting? How do you set up your ad account? And like, walk us through how you set up your ads when you first, even like, let's say you're scaling your let's say you're not even scaling your product. You're just launching something new right now that you're going to focus on building a brand out of or testing.
So yeah, so obviously we'll be using algorithmic targeting. So algorithmic targeting, so for those of us who don't know is, guys, it's basically the ability to target, while maintaining each individual keyword's relevancy and, correlating it with all the other keywords, within a column, right? So a lot
11
of us,
specific categories.
yeah, so a lot of us will be familiar with it. So obviously we prepare, our list of keywords so that we can kind of pinpoint those specific audiences when setting up our ad for a product. But like before that, I also kind of go ahead and see if my competitors, they have like a solid looking landing page. So if they have a solid looking landing page, we can understand that we can also get like a good market share from that product as well before setting up the ad. And then of course we are using algorithmic targeting to have our list of audiences, and then prepare our video ads and other ad creatives. That also has a specific format that we have here at BSF. So following that, we create the whole ad structure and then push it for advertisement.
Right. So every single piece is structured and is binary, guys, right? There's not theory or random crap, right? We have if A, then B. Okay. So the goal here with algorithmic targeting is you have 11 audiences broken down across your budget, right? Each one has $5 a piece, right? So you're spending $5 per ad set, right? So you're going to be spending $30 to $55 per day when you are pushing a product, right? And the variation is because you're going to be killing certain audiences that don't show amazing great KPIs. You're going to be also duplicating audiences that do show sales and great KPIs early on in the 3-day rule, right? So 11 audiences across the board. The goal here, and if you actually set it up this way, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90 profit per unit items. You make one sale, you're netting 50, 60, 70, 80, $90. You could be clearing your entire day in ad spend and then more being the profit based off of only a few sales if you set up your funnel in that manner, right? That's one of the easier ways to go ahead and build your consistency out the gate is to have particular products that have higher margins that are particularly designed to go ahead and make more per unit sale than you're spending in a single day. Right. That's a great way to set yourself up if you want to go ahead and be profitable early on, if you want to kind of move slowly but surely, and you want to allow yourself to be above, right, when you're beginning. I think it's a big deal for a lot of people, and it's huge, right? Sales guys early on in 3-day rule, right? And then a lot of particular people will see a lot of a good portion of the algorithmic targeting campaign perform well, and we'll start duplicating out, guys. What happens here when you start seeing sales come in, right? You're starting to duplicate out to increase the actual infrastructure of what you're running, right? Meaning you have the same audience that's performed and has a high ROAS, right? And if a lot of this doesn't make sense expose yourself to it, right? Listen to it, absorb it, expose yourself to it. ROAS, return on ad spend, right? If you get good ROAS, what's going to happen here is you're going to have the ability to go ahead and duplicate the audience outward. Audiences that have good ROAS will be duplicated out, right? To go ahead and run more budget to those same audiences. But no, you're not bidding against yourself because one, the frequency is not hitting. Two, because these audiences, as we know, with algorithmic targeting are anywhere between 800K to 5 million. When they're between 800K to 5 million, what's occurring here, right, is you're allowing yourself to say, hey, I'm only going to be in between 800K to 5 million, and you're only spending $5, which means your $5 is not going to be breaking through that 800K to 5 million much at all, which means when you duplicate the audiences out, because you're seeing sales come in, you're saying, hey, I know how Facebook works. I know it's going to operate in multiple pockets of buyers. I already saw sales come in this audience. Let me duplicate 5 times to go ahead and push more budget to 5 different pockets. Yes, it's the same audience, but what's going to occur here, guys, is the fact that it's hitting different people within the same audience, meaning it's going to be hitting the different people who are within the same kind of confines or umbrella, which means there's a higher chance of them purchasing and then spending that ad spend on other ads as well, right? So that's kind of a bit of a breakdown as to how we use algorithmic targeting, right? And Ron, with yourself, I know when you launch particular campaigns, right, you're super aggressive to scale, which is amazing, right? Walk us through, what you want to look for when you're testing your product and you start to see certain performance and certain ad results come through. What are you looking for? And what do you kind of see that makes you say, you know what, this looks like something that's pretty hot. I think I might want to scale it. What are you looking at?
So I'm definitely looking at ad sets. So from the 11 ad sets, I'm looking to get sales from at least multiple ad sets. That's when I know that, okay, this product has potential. Then obviously, we are going to use our 5x duplication method to go ahead and start scaling immediately.
I love it. I love it. So Ron says, guys, he's looking for sales across multiple audiences, right? And what this shows is that no matter, just to give us a bit of a deeper understanding, guys, algorithmic targeting, those 11 audiences, there are 11 different kinds of people in your niche. So if you're in the hunting niche, for example, we don't just be like, hey, I'm going to find people who like hunting, right? No, we're going to go ahead and spread it out, right? In between people who love hunting, brands, then people who just love camping specifically, right? All 11 columns are broken down into specifically different types of people within the same hunting market. So you can see which real individual is actually the one buying from you and which real individual actually gives you the highest ROAS, right? So what Ron's saying is he's looking for multiple sales on one algorithmic sheet, which is 11 ad sets. So if he sees multiple sales coming in through multiple different ad sets, that means multiple different types of people are, one, converting, right, with the ad, and it's not just one type of person that's actually converting, right? It's hitting across multiple different people, which is amazing, right? Types of people, which is amazing. That's an absolute surefire sign for scale because it shows, like you said before, the evergreen reach, right? And if you're ever noticing yourself, there's only one specific type of person buying from you, but it's doing well, you could change your marketing angle to solely focus on that person. And then your entire algorithmic sheet could be focused on just that person if you recreate it and relaunch it, right? Which is something that we like to do pretty often as well. So amazing stuff. Now, Ron, walk us through, thereafter, once you start to see that traction, you know that something's working well, right? Walk us through what you want to start doing thereafter. So you start seeing great ROAS, multiple sales come in, right? Phenomenal stuff. What are you particularly doing after? And this is the last piece we're going to touch on with like getting the product from testing to being scaled. And then we're going to talk a bit more higher level and higher scale stuff in a second.
So once I identify that, okay, multiple sales across the board from all the ad sets, now I would identify like which of my creatives are doing good. And then I would just move forward with that creative and those set of audiences, because I now know that, the pixel is trying and, tapping into this particular segment of audience. So I kind of refine it further, and then I start the duplication process. And then I start scaling, right? Using, the 5x method.
I love it. And that's something that Manny and I were talking about as well. Like 2 days ago, we just launched a fresh brand, Manny and I as well, right? And Manny's actually one of our BSF team members here. He's head of marketing and product, which is amazing. And he himself is doing 200K a month as well, right? So our guys, look at the BSF staff, right? Ron, Manny doing 200K a month. Like our staff actually goes hard, right? And that should tell you a lot about the company and the internal as well. But you're exactly correct, right? And creatives is huge, right? What many were talking about is the validity of creatives these days, right? How ultimately your scale really comes down to your creative almost as much as how much you can spend, right? So at that point, realize that dry powder cash, right, is really nearly as important as creative and vice versa, right? So it's crazy to realize that. And with the creator market these days, right, being able to realize that is huge. Utilizing UGC is huge, right? All these pieces, right, to kind of be able to get that extra movement is huge. So like I was talking about with Bobby not too long ago as well, starting to test 5 to 8 creatives a week minimum is also a big deal, right? Especially as you start scaling, right? Yep, this is Ron. This is Ron. And that's huge, guys. So if you're someone who's doing well and you're at like a glass ceiling and you can't break through, but you're profitable, but whenever you pass a certain line of profitability, the ROAS comes down, creative, okay, start testing 5 to 8 creatives a week, right? And watch as you start to break through, you'll have way less ad fatigue, right? And you'll make it happen. Because at the end of the day, guys, we're not brands like Coca-Cola. We can't just run the same freaking ad every day for 25 years and people are going to still buy it. Right? Coca-Cola is a different story, right? You want to have new, fresh marketing constantly, and that's what keeps the brand scaling. So that's incredible stuff, Ron. Now, Ron, and also what I want to do, guys, because I'm not reading out the chat as much as I used to because we're on Zoom here, right? And it's delayed by like a few seconds, and it's tough to do so. So what I want to do is I want to do a little 30-second intermission here where we're going to give out hoodies, right? And we're also going to give out free business audits. Right. So all you have to go ahead and do to get a free hoodie, right? You have a chance to win. We're going to give out 5 of them. And Manny's watching right now. Manny, if you could pick out 5 people to win the hoodie, Manny, and reply to everybody, but pick out 5 people to win the hoodie. Let's send them messages. Let's get the hoodie sent out to them. Progressive scale, which is amazing. And then what I also want to go ahead and do is, Manny, drop the link for business audits below. If you guys want myself and my team to go through and audit your business and to give you a full-on, like very honest opinion as to where your business is at. Be able to take criticism and feedback. We don't hold back. You're gonna be like, wow, these guys don't hold back, but like you're gonna be very happy because it's gonna make you money for free, right? So if you want that, comment hashtag BSF below to get a hoodie. Manny's gonna drop the link down below on Instagram here and also on Facebook here for you guys to go ahead and book free business audits, right? I'll give you guys like a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go ahead and do that, and we'll jump right back into the live. But if you guys want that, it's free. We'll sit down and really look at your whole business. We'll help you identify your bottlenecks for free. We'll help you look at what you should do for free. We'll help you look at why you're not making as much money as you should for free. And we'll literally help you try to fix it on the call for free, right? Which is amazing. And I don't mind. I really don't mind doing that. And neither does my team, because guess what? Also, another member of my team, Nick Peroni. You guys know Nick Peroni, right? He's one of the guys that's doing the business audits as well. Right. And he's spoken on affiliate world across the globe. Me and him have personally made multiple millions of dollars as well on stores as well, which is sick. And we've been partnered for like, we've known each other and worked together over the past 10 years. Nick Peroni, like we got, Manny doing 200K. We got Nick Peroni, we've been like literally millions and millions and millions of dollars together. We got Ron, like this is the staff, right? And that's why I say, guys, when you want to get involved in a community, you want to be surrounded by people who actually rock and roll and eat, sleep, and breathe this. Right. And, just get exposed to this type of stuff. Because even if you're newer, right, just kind of rubbing off on certain types of people is going to push you in the right direction. And also, if you're advanced, just hearing others' perspective as well is going to go ahead and add new, massive numbers to your bottom line. Just because if you are at great numbers, right, we have so many people who join BSF who are doing huge numbers, right, and they'll go ahead and apply one little thing that we see on the session with them, and they make an extra 100K. Right? Just because of one little thing. So at higher scale, you're at almost more risk because you're leaving more money on the table, right? So you have to realize it's all about continuing to kind of add to your infrastructure. Don't just leave it be. Ham says, love Justin. This guy's the best at what he does. I appreciate you, brother, and good to see you. Good to see you. I appreciate you so much. Now, yeah, so let me make sure we are good to go there. I'll shoot Manny a message here to make sure we are good. Yo, can you drop those biz audit links? Perfect. Links on Facebook and okay. Perfect. Drop them right now. That's perfect. All right. Now, Ron, I want to transition into the mindset change that you had to have. So your product's taking off, it's profitable, you're scaling it. You're at a point now where you're making money in e-commerce, which is amazing. And by making money, you're having consistent sales and you're scaling it upward and you're profitable. Walk us through what someone needs to be aware of and how you need to prepare yourself. So I want you to talk to the people who are scaling to their first real solid numbers, the first few $1,000 days at this point, right? Walk us through the mindset change that someone has to make. Like, what do they have to dedicate their life to this? Walk through the type of workflow that has to be done. Walk through the raw reality of how to make it work at this point with e-commerce, Ron, and from your experience.
Yeah, so honestly, if anybody wants or plans to do this full time, they'll have to put a lot of time to it as they start to scale, because there's a ton of workflow it comes into the picture when you're scaling, right? You need to manage the fulfillment, you need to manage your ads constantly, right? And then you need to have a foolproof support system at the back to help consumers, right? With constant communication and all of that stuff. So yes, and at that time, is when you need to start hiring, you need to do team building, right? So it becomes a lot intense. So, that's when you literally start to build a real business, right? That's the time when it really starts to kick in, and you got to go ahead and start hiring. So that is the time you need to think of it like as if it's like a real business, and put your 100% to it, and focus, have your complete full focus to it, and just forget about everything else and move forward if you like really plan to make it a full-time income for yourself.
100%. I love that. And I love talking about the raw reality of this, because if this was easy, everyone would just be making millions of dollars in doing this, right? It's not easy, guys. And I don't care what anyone says, right? It's not easy, right? So don't let anyone tell you it's fucking easy. Excuse my French. Not easy. Okay. It's easier for me because I've done it for 15 years, right? It's not easy. Okay. I don't care if you're Bill Gates. It's not easy. Okay. So realize the difference is having systems, having coaching, having guidance, and having the constant experience and know-how, because you absorb yourself into it constantly every day, right? Time in the game will beat everything, guys, right? So please understand that experience is one of the most priceless things that you can have. And just getting started is the best thing that you can do, and actually just forcing yourself through the motions, right? Now, Ron, walk us through, right? Someone who has multiple brands, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're on a BSF live stream. Like we love BSF, but walk us through like how the BSF systems help you run these multiple companies at once, right? Because you have multiple businesses running at once. Like walk us through, because like when you have disorganization and not predictability and no rhyme or reason for anything you do, you get so unorganized and you don't know how to recreate the success, and you don't know how to manage the business, and you're going to be unorganized, and you're going to be discombobulated and not be able to do multiple things at once. So because of the systems, you're able to be consistent. And just like Gavin was saying, he was running, because he was head up of an agency, he was running with our systems, guys, 27 e-commerce brands at once, which is insane. 27 e-commerce brands at once using our systems, right? All at the same time, all performing all doing well, performing at the same time. 27. Gavin, one of our students here at BSF, okay, which is insane. Agency owner. Okay. Now, Ron, walk us through how the systems helped you manage multiple companies as well. How does that work, and how does it help?
So the systems is like so proven that you can literally use it multiple times over and over again. It's like the same thing that you just go ahead and repeat itself. So it just works out on its own, because it's like a proven system that has worked over more than a decade now, right? So you just want to use the correct set of creatives with the correct set of audiences using your algo sheet, and then just put it up in the market. So it works out well. All you just gotta do is follow it to the T, follow the process, follow the 5x duplication method, right? In the correct way, like the way we have it inside of BSF, and duplicate it every single time for it to kind of work. It works wonders.
Right
Same
now,
every time.
Now, just like the raw act of having a system, right? Because running multiple businesses, there's many things going on. Does the system help you stay organized and not like discombobulated because you're doing a similar thing in these companies across the board?
Very much, yes. Unless you have a solid system, you won't be able to duplicate and build multiple businesses, like, or have like a portfolio of brands, right? For yourself. So if you have a solid system that you can duplicate, right, it's easier to manage like a portfolio of brands, right? It's not just like you keep saying, Justin, we e-com entrepreneurs, we just need one brand and we can just retire. But then if we like the system helps us build multiple, so now, why not have a portfolio of brands and scale?
100%. And that's one of the biggest things as well that I want us all to realize is when you actually do well in e-commerce, you're going to be like, why don't I just do this again?
Mhm.
You're gonna get, you can, right? But if you don't have a system and you just got there by luck, you're gonna have no freaking idea how to do it, right? So that's huge, Ron. I completely concur, right? And the biggest thing, guys, is being able to realize that having a portfolio is something that you should aim for, right? Having one company is cool, right? Obviously, everyone's goal is to have one business at first. Once you have one, then like, all right, what now? Like, obviously, scale that business, but also realize that your skill set now, you can manage multiple companies, right? At this point, we have large portfolios, right? Physical product brands, service-based businesses, right? And the whole goal is to actually continue to add to it over time and build value and enterprise value in these companies, in these portfolios, right? So the goal here should be not just owning one business or building one business, but learning what you're doing and genuinely knowing what the hell you're doing so you can build up the companies over and over again and apply your systems to other companies as well to add more value to them, right? That's how you really get yourself pushing forward. That's how you really add value to your life. That's how you make real money, right? Now, guys, I've been doing this for 15 years, right? If I wasn't rich by now, I should probably quit, right? Fucking, so obviously I've done pretty well through so many different things throughout my life, right? But the one thing I want to let you guys know is I will constantly build a business. I will always constantly add business to my portfolio because that's the craft, right? That's the craft. And that's the skills that allows me to do whatever I want in my life. I could do whatever I want when I want with whoever I want. I don't care about the price, right? On anything, ever, right? Within reason. Well, obviously, just within reason, right? And the whole most important thing is because I spent 15 years learning a skill set that I could go online and make money, right? And I want you to realize that it is the greatest thing you could do in your life. And my people who are doing 100K, 200K, 300, 400, 500K a month plus, you know exactly what I'm saying right now, right? For my people who are new, you're like, that sounds amazing. And yes, but I want to tell you the barrier that's truly the real true barrier and hurdle between people who are doing like 100 to 300K a month and then zero, right, are like the people who just actually just continue to do it till it works, right? Because it's, guys, online selling works. Newsflash, like Amazon, look at Amazon, like it works, obviously, right? You're either doing it right, or you're doing it wrong, right? You just don't quit. Don't freaking quit. Just keep going, right? And don't think you're gonna be the lottery winner who gets the winner on the first product that you find, right? Right? Be real, right? Realize most people find their winner on like their fifth or like their sixth or their fourth or their second or third sometimes if they're doing really good research, right? But realize like you want to marry the process and marry the game. You don't want to just marry the result before you can get it, right? You want to actually just love the game and know what you're doing is a great thing, right? And I'm telling you right now, e-commerce and digital marketing, I'm building my life around this, right? I suggest you do as well. And that's why I learn this stuff, get great at it, geek out, be weird with it, be weird. If you comment hashtag be weird down below, Manny's going to choose one person to win a 30-minute one-on-one with me. But you got to comment hashtag be weird down below, right? Be weird. Okay. Geek out, right? Make it happen, right? Just be obsessive with e-commerce. Be obsessive with digital marketing. Obsess over it, right? Ron, was there a moment that you felt like you just became obsessed with it? Like, was there a moment where you're like, wow, I really love this stuff? Like, was there a moment that you had? What was that moment, out of curiosity? I know it's a little off topic.
You automatically get to see it when you start receiving consistent sales across the board, and it automatically becomes an addiction when you see that Shopify notification and you see that sound and you see that you're having like regular cash flow flowing into your bank, is when you get that kick within you, and you automatically want to do more and more because the system is working out for you, not just on the marketing side, but on the logistics side of the business as well. So it's not like and with our systems we can not just focus on physical drop shipping products, but even digital products, even service based as well. So you once you see that cash flow coming in, you automatically you want to go ahead and start diversifying and using the systems in multiple business models within e-commerce.
Dude, 100%. And like the biggest thing is it's a weapon. When you understand that you could control your destiny, you become empowered. You get like sometimes I get like a random dopamine rush. I just get so excited about like the future and what's possible to be built with like all the AI and everything coming in. Like, and also guys, like with AI and everything that's happening, e-commerce is going to continue to boom, right? You think online sales and online commerce is going to slow down with AI? Ooh, hell no, right? Get ready. Learn this stuff now. And if you're already a veteran, you're in the right place. I'm looking to be here literally for my whole life. I want to learn as much as I freaking can and become as great as I possibly humanly can at this stuff, right? And there's always going to be someone who's better than you, richer than you, whatever the hell, right? But I want to max out myself, right? Which is being as good as I can at this stuff. So max yourself out, right? Build a big portfolio, make it happen, right? It's only going up on the up and up. But Ron, this is great. This is a great live. We're getting awesome feedback. And everyone watching right now, appreciate everyone here. Great stuff all around. If you wouldn't mind, guys, drop like a heart on the live as well, just for the Facebook algorithm and the Instagram algorithm to help out. Drop like a heart on the video if you could. And if you also could, if you haven't commented yet, just put hashtag BSF below. It just helps the algorithm. I genuinely appreciate that, guys. But yeah, Ron, like what I want you to kind of conclude into now is the real raw uncut talk of what you want to tell someone who wants to someone who wants to get to 100K, someone who's maybe doing 10K a month, 15K a month, even someone who's at zero maybe, right? But they want to get to 100K a month. They want to break that barrier, right? Give us the raw uncut version of what that looks like, right? Sometimes entrepreneurship is ugly, right? And it gives you bags under the eyes and everything because you're tired, right? Walk us through like the raw uncut ugliness of making that happen, Ron. Like how ugly really is it? Is it that ugly? Does it have to be that ugly? Or walk me through from your perspective.
Honestly, if it's not ugly, you're not in the right track. If you feel that it's easy, if you feel that it's easy,
So
then you're not doing it right. It has to be ugly. You need to feel lost at times, right? You're going to question yourself, right? You might want to even quit. If those things are not happening, you're not getting success in this because this shit is hard. For sure it is. Because you're simply just a product away. That's what I'll say. Don't give up. You're one conversation away from that breakthrough, right? So what changed my life was showing up consistently, taking fast action, staying coachable, and implementing the systems, every single time. Testing is the name of the game in this business, right? If you're here right now, guys, you already have an unfair advantage, right? You're learning from one of the best, and you're part of the community that wins together, right? There's so many people inside our community that have like incredible success stories with the same exact systems that Justin has taught us. So you just have to go out there, implement it, and be consistent with it, right? It's gonna be hard, but end of the day, it's gonna work out for you. If not now, but after 3 days or so, it surely will. It will one day.
I love that. Was really well said, by the way. And guys, one of the things that we were talking about as well the other day that kind of capitalized on what Ron said is if you think about it, what I want you guys to realize here, right? It's literally a combination of buttons that you're clicking on your computer that's going to make money come out of it. That's actually what it is. And it sounds crazy, but let's be caveman for a second here. Let's pretend like there was no screen, there's nothing, and someone was just watching what you did all day. You just clicked a bunch of buttons and moved your finger on a mouse, meaning that if you just do it in the right order, you can literally change your life. And it's fucking crazy to think that, right? Obviously, there's not something that just says click this, but you want to think of it in simplistic terms because it's the simplistic reasoning and understanding of what gets the result that allows you to understand that you just have to keep effing pushing, right? When you're new and your first product doesn't do well, who gives a shit? Keep going. Now you know what you're doing. Keep going, right? Now you're that's good. So now you're good now that you know what you're doing, right? So realize it's a combination of pushing buttons that create a result. right? And it's crazy to think like that, and it really is continuing to push forward. And someone who wants to make this year a career, continue pushing forward until it's a reality. And then once you're seeing it firsthand yourself, you're no longer that naysayer or that like negative Nancy. It's like, oh my God, e-commerce. I tried e-commerce. It doesn't work. E-commerce. What do you mean e-commerce doesn't work? That's like saying water doesn't work. What? Right? So like, no, you just didn't do it right, or you weren't considered right. So there's a multitude of factors. Realize, right? You got to find the first win for yourself. So it proves it for yourself, and you get yourself that first win to give yourself the dopamine or whatever you need, right? To keep pushing, you're pushing forward, especially if you haven't been around people who have found success, right? Because like, for example, me, I know so like all the people I know have insane success with e-commerce and digital marketing. So to me, it's my normal. It's my literal normal, right? It's my normal. So like when someone hits like $1 million a month, I'm like, oh, good. Like who's hitting 10 though? Like, because it's normal. It's normal to me, right? So you want to realize that those numbers need to be normal to you, because if they become normal to you, the average performance of what you do is going to be way, way, way bigger and higher up than anyone else around you, because you've changed your ecosystem. You've changed what your normality is, right? So get out of your circle, right? And realize what is actually happening. So you don't have to, and there's always these people that I see comment on my ads like, oh my God, e-commerce doesn't work. I'm like, that person right there, they probably just don't have any friends or know anyone who has done well with e-commerce. It's reasonable to think that, but once you see it and you experience it, it's a whole different ballgame. So focus on getting the experience firsthand by doing it yourself and making it freaking happen. Because once you do, you're going to want to build so many different companies and brands, and it's going to be like a sickness. You're going to be obsessed with e-commerce and digital marketing. It's the greatest thing you could do. Genuinely, it was for me. I loved it. I literally am so happy I dedicated my life to this so long ago. But yeah, Ron, this has been a great stream so far. I mean, we're about an hour in. And the last thing I want to do here is I just want to give you the props that you deserve, because you have not only been a staple of the BSF experience, right, with being an incredible coach, but you're also just an individual who practices what they preach on a level that I don't think many realize, right? Because you eat, sleep, and breathe this all day, every day. How do I know that? Because I'm on it all day, every day, and you're never not rocking, right? You're never not pushing, editing an ad, doing this, or that. It's insane to see what you've done. And there's a correlation between people who work hard, stay consistent, and do it every day, right? It is unreasonable to not be good at what you do if you do it every day. It's unreasonable. Unreasonable. Like if you're bad at what you do and you stay consistent for a prolonged period of time, it's still unreasonable, right? So like, even if you're at a disadvantage, it's unreasonable. Realize that, right? Make logical sense that you will win. If it's like, you just have to genuinely force it, and you can. I know it sounds great, but you can. You just show up every day, right? And opportunity may not be there for you every day, but there's going to be a day where it freaking shows up, right? You just got to make sure that you show up every day, so that day where it shows up, you're there, right? Ron, thank you, brother, again, for everything you've done for BSF and for your success as well, and for making time for today. I think what you've done, I mean, coming from your humble beginnings, again, and I say this all the time, this is why I do what I do, right? And seeing all the success stories, not only from yourself, everyone else that we have, like, this is the type of story that makes me emotional, right? Because I came from nothing. We lost lots of shit, right? When I was younger, right? My family went through a lot of crap, right? So, this is important to me on a whole deeper level than a lot of people realize, right? So, Ron, I salute you, sir. And anything that you want to leave the community with before we head out here today.
Firstly, I'm like really grateful, bro. And like every single day, I'm so super grateful to you that I took the leap of faith, and now I kind of get to help others do the same thing, and build yet another success story, out of BSF. So thanks to you, bro, for changing my life. And I can't wait to see who's going to be next, right, in the student story, and we celebrate it together. And for anyone, for the rest, what I would, the last thing I would say is, if you're like super duper serious in the ecom, and you're doing it like full time, definitely visit China, guys, right? Meeting suppliers face to face, seeing the massive scale of manufacturing, right?
Ron,
Talking to logistic partners in
and
real
mention,
time, it
all right,
opened my eyes, like, you
and
know,
no,
that.
continue on that, Ron. Just mention some of the products and the niches that you saw at the factory, if you could, for everyone who's still on the live right now.
So it was like it's literally like the backbone of the entire industry. So you get to see a lot of products, in the in their factories, when they are actually packing it. So there were a ton of baby products. Uh, there was this one robot kind of a product, wherein you used to you can place like picture cards, and it will draw it automatically for you, right, saving the parent time, and then the baby will just paint the picture that the robot draws. So it's a really incredible product, and it's super hot right now.
That's
It's
insane. That's
yet to
actually,
be a
yes.
trend.
Hint, 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 hint. Every Write this down, guys. Great. Keep going, Ron. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So that's kind of one product that was there. I'm actually building out a list of the products that I've seen out there, and we plan to give it out, in our in-house platinum group. So it's gonna be incredible. But those are the kind of products that were majorly there. A lot of shapewear products were there as well. Women dominate shapewear products that's like super in the trend right now. So yeah, those are the kind of ones that are super duper hot right now. Even that one, I saw the Korean skincare, uh, the collagen skincare.
Now,
Uh,
collagen's
that's
extremely hot right now. No, 100%. And you're all these things you're saying are I would say needle nose hot right now, for sure. Right. And guys, one thing I want to do as well for all of us here who are still on the stream, if you're watching on Instagram, jump over to the Facebook group, guys, so you can see Ron if you're watching on the Instagram. But Manny, I'm about to drop this right now. So what I want you to do, Manny, if you're listening, right? He's listening right now. What we're going to do, right? For those of you also who are on the stream, you want to get more info, etc., see exactly what we do here at BSF Deeper, speak with myself, the team. We'll give out a few winners as well on some business audit calls as well, right? We're going to save 80-90% of them for our Inner Circle Platinum Club, right? But we'll get like a nice little 10% sliver and throw it over to the calls on here as well. Okay, so guys, if you want that, Manny's going to drop the link down below for the business audit sessions. So, man, you could drop the link down below on Facebook and Instagram here, drop it down below, right? And then you guys could go ahead and book sessions. We'll have a business audit. We'll go through exactly where your business is at. And also, if you ask on the session, we'll give you the winning product 10% list that we get from the findings that we had over in China, which would be awesome. So we don't mind making that happen. And again, if you're watching over here on Instagram, guys, jump over to the Facebook group, go on Facebook, type in Beyond Six Figures, jump in the group, right? Because we're live with Ron right now. So if you're over on Instagram right now, jump off IG, go to Facebook and jump on the live, guys. And again, if you want to get your hands on those winning products, right, all you got to go ahead and do is book your business audit session below. Manny's dropping the link down here on Instagram and also Facebook. Make it happen. We're a little bit delayed here on Facebook, so you'll likely see the link come up here a few minutes after I'm saying this. So just keep an eye out a few seconds after I say it. Instagram, it should be pinned here already, right? And Ron, with that being said, if there's any other niches or markets that you saw while you were there, walk us through it, just to kind of lead it to end us off, and then we'll kind of conclude into thereafter.
No, those were kind of the major ones.
So just to recap, guys, baby market. Okay, baby market specifically, shapewear specifically, individualized product is the robot that draws out the tracing, and then the child actually colors in on the interior of the lines. That definitely does. I've seen that very, very recently, actually. Also, Montessori products are doing very, very well right now, as well as cosmetics, etc. Right? Obviously, these are market products. What I want you guys to do is realize we're going to give out literal individualized items, even more so as well, in our Inner Circle Platinum Club. So if you're a student, be ready for it. And also, if you want to go ahead and get one as well, and possibly become part of the wing of my under wing here at BSF, right? Go ahead and book the call below by clicking the link below that Manny's dropping. Now, with that being said, okay, Ron, last thing, okay, if there's one piece of advice, okay, that you could give anybody here who is new, also someone who's advanced doing 100K a month or plus, okay, that could correlate to both these people in the e-commerce marketplace, what is that piece of advice? What is the most important thing, in your opinion, for consistency over the long term of winning. We don't give a shit about 2 weeks or 1 month of winning. We want years and years and years and years of winning. Talk to me about it.
So just trust the process, follow the systems, keep testing consistently, have a solid budget at the back to kind of support your marketing investments, because and set yourself a goal, right? If you don't have that, you're gonna get interruptions. That is something that we don't want, unless we find our, winning system, our winning product, right? Once we have that, so prior to having that, we want to be so solid, so within the game, right? That it's just that we don't want any interruption till we find our first winning product when we are running paid ads, right? And that's the reason why we have our whole 2020 rule, right? So that is something that we need to keep in mind, moving forward.
I love it. And Ron, again, thank you so much for all the insights today, right? We were over an hour so far. Again, if you're watching over on Instagram, guys, jump over to Facebook, right? You're going to go ahead and be able to see Ron in the whole replay as well. Ron, amazing stuff. And for all of us still watching, we have a good amount of people still on. Great stuff. I noticed who's on the beginning, also who's on at the end. And there's a big correlation, right, toward movement and consistency with those people who actually put in the time. Great stuff. Okay. Last thing we're going to do, we're giving out hoodies, guys. So we're about to end the stream here in about 2 minutes, right? All you have to go ahead and do, okay, is comment hashtag BSF down below. We're giving out 5 hoodies on this stream. Okay, if you want to go ahead and enter to win right now, spam as many times as you possibly can. Hashtag BSF below. If you want to guarantee yourself the win, the most comments, the one person who has the most comments will win, right? And then the rest will get what we're going to pick out from the rest as well. So 5 total hoodie winners, right? We're also picking one person to win a 30-minute one-on-one with me. If you comment hashtag get weird below, right? If you remember from before. And then also Manny, again, if you could drop the link down below for the business audits, right? We're giving out winning products directly from the manufacturer, literally, okay, on these business audits, as well as auditing your business and telling you what you're doing that's losing you money for free, so you can make money with me before you ever think about ever working with myself. Let me show you I can make you money before you ever talk about anything else, right? So Manny, drop those links below. Let us audit your business for free. Let us make you money for free. And then other than that, amazing stream today, Ron. Great stuff all around. And that's amazing stuff. I think the biggest thing that I want you guys to kind of leave with, right, is realizing that you can genuinely do whatever you want in life, especially if you're in the e-commerce and digital marketing field and you know how to stay disciplined. Okay, if your desire is to have freedom and to do cool things, right, you should be in e-commerce, you should be in digital marketing, because you can create your own destiny. It's just about getting that initial attraction, and then you'll take off once you actually see that move and you prove to yourself that you're capable, right? Because once you kind of hook yourself into this industry, right, and you start doing well, it's hard to do anything else, because this is where it's at. Telling you right now, physical product service based, it's where you want to be. This is where I made all my wealth, right? Physical product and service based. All my richest friends, physical product service based. This is where you want to be. My most successful clients, physical product service based. Telling you right now. So click the link below, guys. Book that call. Other than that, I'll end the stream here on Instagram. If you're here on Instagram, jump over right now, okay, to the Facebook group. If you want to see Ron, we're going to jump over to Facebook right now. Peace out, Instagram. Very nice. Now, guys, great stuff all around. Okay. Those of us here in the Facebook group, great stuff. Go ahead and click the link below. Get your audits booked. Even if you're a student, we'll get the audit booked as well. Let's do it. And I love you guys so much. Like, let's keep rolling. Like, this community is priceless to me, right? And it's so much fulfillment seeing all the impact that we've had over the last decade. I am keen to continue rocking and rolling and pushing this thing to the next level. Some of the movements and optimizations we have and new launches that we have here at BSF is insane. And I want to walk you guys through it very, very soon. Okay. But keep your eyes peeled genuinely for what's actually about to happen. This is some of the biggest pushing we've ever had at BSF, and I cannot wait for everything else down the road, guys. So Ron, thank you again. Amazing stuff. We'll end the stream here. And Ron, like, again, like you're an absolute GOAT. You're a stud. And anyone here who's watching, like, you shoot Ron a message. He's a nice guy too. He's not like a stubborn, douche like a lot of people who do well. He's actually a nice guy, right? So if you reach out to him, talk to him, I'm sure he won't mind going back and forth with you guys. If you need any help with anything as well. But other than that, great stuff all around. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your day and enjoy. Go ahead and cut the stream here. I want to make sure we're good. We're still on Zoom. We're still live here, but guys, I'm going to click end on here first, guys, right? So we'll see if this goes well. Perfect. All right. Bye, guys.